And welcome back to Hannity and Colmes. Parents in Houston, Texas are outraged tonight about a Hispanic Heritage Month activity that occurred last week at a local school. Now, in what administrators are calling a cultural education activity, students at Velasco Elementary attended an assembly where several parent volunteers read a Pledge of Allegiance to the Mexican flag. School authorities did not return our calls, but the principal has said in reports that he would revamp the event if, in fact, it was held again. Joining us now, KTRH News Radio 740 reporter Scott Braddock. Scott, welcome to the program. Thanks for being with us.
Good evening, Sean.
Tell me, we have this right here. I know you've been trying to vet this out and get a copy of the tape of all this. Have we confirmed this 100% now?
Well, it's sort of one of these he said, she said arguments right now. You have parents who've called my radio station, News Radio 740 KTRH, saying that they're outraged because kids were required to say a pledge to the Mexican flag. In the meantime, we have a school district that says, no, that didn't happen. It's the Brazosport School District here in Southeast Texas. They say that, no, that didn't happen, that there was a group of volunteers, as you mentioned, Sean, who said the pledge to the Mexican flag while the kids only held small Mexican flags, but the kids weren't required to say anything. That's what the school district says. So I want to know if any parent out there has a copy of maybe a videotape. We know that at these assemblies, parents like to, keep memories of their kids. If anybody actually videotaped the assembly, we'd like to be able to see it so we can tell people what actually happened, and then they can decide for themselves whether it was appropriate.
All right. How many people? The reason you're pursuing this because a number of people have basically confirmed the same story here. You're also talking about filing for a Freedom of Information Act request that's saying that if the school has a tape of it, they have an obligation to turn it over to the local media there.
Right. We know that in many instances at these assemblies that the school districts will, Sean, they'll videotape these assemblies, and if they do have a tape, they should let us see what happens so that people can decide for themselves, like I said.
They should let you, but do they have an obligation, a legal obligation to do so? That's a greater distinction. Hey, Barry, first of all, thanks for coming back on the program. We love having you, and thanks for all you're doing for these guys. It's really terrific that somebody in your position really takes the time to do something that's really having a very profound impact. We appreciate all you're doing here. Oh, you're Cy Young Award winner. What year was that? 2002?
2002, yeah.
All right. Now you're having a pretty good year this year. I think there's only 4 pitchers in all of Major League Baseball that have more wins than you this year.
I try not to look at the numbers because sometimes you look at them too much.
I'm looking at them.
You try to achieve them, so I just like to stick to the passion of pitching, and whatever happens, then, I'm happy to do it.
Well, you're now ranked in, 6 short years now, 4th in Oakland history, trailing, Catfish Hunter, Vida Blue, and Dave Stewart. I mean, that's a pretty significant career that you're in the middle of here, in the midst of here. When you see these other guys in baseball, when you talk about this, do they have an interest in it as you do? Can you convince them when you tell them about it? They get excited about it?
I think they do. I think everyone really across the league and most people in this country have a tie in one way or another to a soldier or someone that's gone abroad, or maybe a family member, either a son or a grandfather. I think it really hits home with all of us, and I know, Alex Rodriguez, his brother, is involved in the military, and, that's why Alex wanted to come aboard, and a lot of other guys. Chipper Jones is aboard with the Atlanta Braves, and I think he has some close ties as well.
All right, so you had how many strikeouts so far? You don't carry the numbers. I saw the latest number I saw was about 140, 150 so far this year.
Maybe somewhere in there, yeah. Not as many as I'd like, but, that's why I'm doing 200 a year.
All right, well, that's still pretty good. I mean, I used to be a pitcher in baseball, but I either threw it, I told you this last time I met you, over the backstop, or I would strike a couple of people out. There was no in-between with me, as you could tell. But so you sit there and you strike somebody out, and do you ever think about it actually when you're on the mound? All right, good. There's more money for the cause. That's pretty cool.
To be honest, as focused as we are, some other thoughts come into our heads, and that has jumped in my head a couple times. And opening day, for instance, Alex Rodriguez hit a home run off me, and I think he struck out twice that game. So between the two of those, it was about $900. And so, it's kind of bittersweet, but we're always raising more money. So
hey, Barry,
good.
Thanks a lot. I understand when Hannity was pitching, by the way, if he thought the batter was a liberal, he tried to brush him back. I understand that was the case.
No, I actually threw it at him.
I was being a little kinder, actually. I didn't want to go for that joke. But listen, Barry, thank you. Congratulations on the work you're doing and the money you're raising, and thank you so much for coming back. Tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.
We appreciate it. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Finally tonight, here's our old friend Dennis Miller with some real free speech.
Hey folks, nice to be back. Tonight I want to talk to you about the elephant-sized piñata in the room, illegal immigration. Now, I don't have anything against Mexican people, but for God's sakes, sign the guest book on the way in. Come on, if you're going to knock off a nooner with a coworker at a bad motel, you have to scrawl your Juan Hancock on the desk blotter. Of course you should sign in at the border. Protecting our borders is not a racist act, and anybody who tells you that it is, be they Mexican-American, American-Mexican, American-American, or Mexican-Mexican, is quite simply full of it, full of it. Sit down, Alan. We have to confront this problem right now because the Rubicon Grande has obviously been crossed. I realized that when I heard there's now a copy of the national anthem sung completely in Spanish. Although, truth be told, I've kind of been doing it a little bit myself over the years because, I don't know about you, but I always start the song off, Jose, can you see? Now, I place a lot of the blame on our two presidents. I don't like Fox. The president, not the network. Love the network. Love Roger Ailes. Love, 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 love. But Vicente Fox always reminds me of Lau Wagner in the Zorro sketch. And you know something, if he's as proud of his country as he says he is, maybe he should try to honcho his economy out of the permanent state of siesta it's in so his people can stay home and make a buck, or 60 trillion pesos, whatever today's conversion rate may be. And while I truly admire President Bush, I just don't get him at all on illegal immigration. I sometimes think that his soft approach to this problem might possibly have something to do with the reflexive guilt he might feel about his patrician upbringing. I believe as he made the long mosey from Yale to y'all, he found himself touched by people who don't take the gift of America for granted. Well, that's fine, sir, but you have to realize that right about now, 80% of this country has reached the same point with illegal immigration that you did after Saddam Hussein lined his birdcage with that 17th UN resolution on Iraq. Enough is enough. And so I present my Mexican-American lifeboat theory. It's quite simple. If you really want everybody coming here unchecked, just give up your seat in the boat. One illegal immigrant in, one proponent of illegal immigration out. Hey, if you're going to talk the come on up talk, you got to walk the head down south walk. Back to you, Holmes and Watson.
Has me defending Bush.
Okay, Inspector Clouseau Miller. Hey, anyway, we're going to be tomorrow in Dallas. 4,000 friends. We got an audience show to celebrate our 10th anniversary, Mr. Colmes.
It'll be our first of a few appearances around the country. We look forward to seeing our Texas friends in Dallas about 23 hours from right now.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, and I want to thank all our friends here at Harding University for the hospitality. We toss it down to Greta Van Susteren is standing by to go on the record. We'll see you from Dallas with 4,000 friends tomorrow night. Greta.